Brian Schottenheimer just dropped a statement after the Cowboys faced the Cardinals, and now his future in Dallas is becoming a serious talking point. What he said after the game has fans asking one big question. Is Schottenheimer actually thinking about leaving? After the Cowboys and Cardinals matchup, attention quickly shifted from the final score to the comments coming out of the Dallas locker room. Schottenheimer has been under pressure since taking over, with every offensive decision being analyzed by Cowboys fans. And this is where things get interesting. Schottenheimer knows the expectations in Dallas are massive. Every game is judged differently. Every play call gets discussed, and any offensive struggles immediately put the spotlight on the coaching staff. But instead of focusing on the noise, his message has been about execution, preparation, and getting the team better. That sounds normal, but there's a bigger storyline developing behind the scenes. When a coach's name starts appearing in rumors about leaving, even a simple post-game comment can suddenly get people talking. Fans want to know whether there is frustration inside the organization, whether Schottenheimer has concerns about the direction of the team, or whether these rumors are simply coming from outside speculation. So far, there is no confirmed announcement that Brian Schottenheimer is leaving the Cowboys. That distinction is extremely important. Still, the pressure is real. Dallas expects its offense to be aggressive and consistent, especially with Dak Prescott and a talented group of weapons. If the offense struggles, Schottenheimer will naturally receive a lot of the criticism. And if the Cowboys start winning, he will receive a lot more credit. That makes the next few games extremely important for his future. Another thing fans are watching closely is how Schottenheimer communicates with his players. Does the locker room believe in his system? Are the players responding to his M? The bigger issue for Schottenheimer is that the Cowboys cannot afford to waste opportunities on offense. With Dak Prescott leading the team, Dallas has the quarterback and the weapons to put pressure on opposing defenses, but the system still has to produce when the game gets tight. That is why the Cardinals matchup matters. Every possession gives the coaching staff another chance to prove that the offense is moving in the right direction. If Dallas can consistently create explosive plays, protect Prescott, and finish drives with points, the conversation around Schottenheimer becomes much more positive. But if the same problems continue, the pressure will only increase. One thing that makes the situation even more interesting is the relationship between Schottenheimer and the players. A coach can have a great offensive system on paper, but if the locker room isn't completely bought in, things can change quickly. Players have to trust the calls, trust the preparation, and believe the coaching staff has a plan when the game gets difficult. Schottenheimer has also been trying to establish his own identity with the Cowboys. He isn't simply replacing another coach and copying what came before him. He has his own philosophy, his own approach, and his own expectations for how this offense should operate. That process takes time, but Dallas is not a franchise known for patience when expectations aren't being met. And this is where the rumors about his future become complicated. There is a huge difference between fans speculating that a coach could leave and the organization actually considering a change. Right now, those two things should not be confused. There has been no confirmed announcement that Schottenheimer is leaving Dallas. Until the Cowboys or Schottenheimer themselves say otherwise, the rumors remain just that, rumors. Still, every upcoming game can add another piece to the story. If the offense improves, Schottenheimer could silence a lot of the critic. That development could come from the way Dallas handles the offense in the next few games. If Schottenheimer continues calling an aggressive game and the Cowboys start finishing drives, it would be a strong sign that the organization still believes in his direction. The players will be a huge part of that story. Dak Prescott has to feel comfortable in the system, the offensive line has to give him enough time, and the receivers have to consistently create separation. When all three areas work together, the pressure on Schottenheimer becomes much smaller. But when one part breaks down, the coach becomes the easiest person to blame. That is something Schottenheimer has to understand in Dallas. The Cowboys are one of the most talked about teams in the NFL, so every decision gets magnified. A questionable third down call can dominate sports shows for an entire week. A missed red zone opportunity can suddenly become a debate about the coach's future. The best way for Schottenheimer to control that conversation is by winning. And that is why his relationship with Prescott remains so important. The quarterback has to trust the play calls and make quick decisions when defenses change after the snap. If Prescott and Schottenheimer develop a stronger rhythm, the Cowboys could become much more dangerous. There is also another factor. Consistency. One good game won't completely erase criticism, just like one bad game shouldn't automatically end a coach's tenure. Dallas needs to see a pattern. If the offense performs well against different defensive schemes and keeps improving, the coaching staff will have a much stronger case to stay together. But if the Cowboys continue having stretches where the offense disappears, the questions will return immediately. Fans will also be watching Schottenheimer's post-game comments. Coaches often choose their words carefully, especially when talking about injuries, personnel, or their own future. A short answer can sometimes create. Inside the Cowboys organization, the focus will likely remain on improvement rather than the rumors surrounding Schottenheimer. Coaches understand that the easiest way to end speculation is to put a productive offense on the field and give the team a reason to believe. For Schottenheimer, that means finding the right balance between protecting the football and creating explosive plays. Dallas has enough talent to move the ball, but talent alone doesn't guarantee points. The offensive scheme has to put players in situations where they can succeed, especially on third down and inside the red zone. Dak Prescott will be at the center of that process. If Prescott is comfortable with the system and the play calling gives him answers against different defensive looks, the Cowboys can become much more consistent. That would also take some of the pressure away from Schottenheimer. CeeDee Lamb is another major piece. When Lamb gets involved early, defenses have to adjust, and that can open opportunities for the rest of the offense. George Pickens can also create problems for defensive backs because of his size and ability to make big plays down the field. The challenge is making all those pieces work together. That's why the coaching staff will be judged on more than just the final score. Fans will look at how the offense starts games, how it responds after mistakes, and whether it can close out tight situations. Those details can determine how the organization views Schottenheimer at the end of the season. There is also the question of leadership. A head coach has to keep players focused when outside criticism gets loud. If the Cowboys start hearing more questions about the coaching staff, Schottenheimer will have to make sure that noise doesn't affect the locker room. So far, there is no confirmed report that he is leaving Dallas. The speculation should not be treated as an official decision, and his future will ultimately depend on how the season develops. So right now, there's no confirmed news that Brian Schottenheimer is leaving the Cowboys, but the pressure is definitely there. The next games could tell us a lot about his future and the direction of Dallas offense. Do you think Schottenheimer deserves more time, or should the Cowboys start looking for a change? Let me know in the comments. Hit like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications for more Cowboys news and updates.